Was that not the scariest thing you've ever seen in your entire life, Travis?
I was spooked out there for a second. It went completely black and all that noise. Whew, spooky.
I know. We got people waiting on us. They're like, oh my God, what's going on? They must be getting ready to do a game stream or something cool like that. Nope. It's just going to be two guys for Halloween that are pretending to know what they're talking about on NASCAR. So hopefully you're excited to witness the final countdown, as the thumbnail puts it. This is the last race before we crown a champion, and we have a lot to get to. We're also going to dive into the Xfinity Series playoffs because I think that's going to be a good race this week as well. And it's kind of slow on news, but unfortunately it was big enough news for Toyota to probably go, damn, we lost another one. So let's get into it on Stuck in the Catchfence. All right, we are back, ready to rock and roll. Wanted to apologize. Typically, we are on Wednesday. We are on Friday because I went to the opening Pacers game, and then my son had a birthday, so we are doing it the day before the races begin. Typically, Travis, that would lead to a lot of news and a lot of stuff to talk about, but pretty quiet week so far.
Yeah, not too bad. I think a lot of the news came out, feels like on Saturday, Sunday, and then a little bit on Monday. So it was not as scary, and I thought we'd get some more news this week, and we didn't. So, still some bigger news.
Jesus, man. I mean, we can't even get 5 seconds in, and we got the hater Hanks already out there, bro.
Hey, wait till I get my racing spotlight in here. I got my 3 screens for my simulator around me right now. So wait till I get an actual spotlight on me, and then it's going to be where he's going to just black me out because it's too scary.
Yeah, wait till you can see that he doesn't have pants on whenever we do this.
You guys are lucky I have a shirt on.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's unseasonably warm in Indiana. We shouldn't even be wearing shirts, but no, we're ready to rock and roll, and we begin every show, I guess, answering the chat, getting shit on by our true fans, the ones that really care for us. But no, we started off with a quick question, and the quick question is: Jesse Love has moved to RCR. Is that, Travis, actually better than keeping Sheldon Creed?
I mean, if you look at his ARCA stats, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I didn't watch too much ARCA, but anytime you heard ARCA news, it was Jesse Love winning. Jesse Love finished top 2. Jesse Love won. I think he won what? I think he won
28 races.
That's I knew it was over 10, but I couldn't remember the exact number. That's crazy. But I feel like every time you heard it was Jesse Love won. Jesse Love this. Honestly, I think it's a move that caught everybody off guard. I know you and I texted earlier in the week going like, holy crap, I did not see that coming. I will say that was probably not even in my horizon of things I saw coming. Do we know? I mean, it could just be a move that maybe just to try something different. I mean, it's obviously a Chevy team stealing another Toyota driver. We see this all the time. I guess we could have probably guessed this was going to maybe happen. For the sake of Chevy, it seems like they always steal Toyota development drivers. I don't know. I think Sheldon, it makes you sound like Sheldon made it seem like he wasn't getting the same opportunity as, Austin Hill. So I don't know. Jesse Love didn't come with any sponsors because he also has Wheelan coming back. So it's a timetable. I think what's nice for Jesse is that you didn't get that many truck starts. It seems like a lot of people that were in trucks, you either are good at trucks or you're good at Xfinity car. There's no in between, I think.
And you've been making that case for Haley Deegan.
Yeah, and I really do think Haley has talent, but I just don't think her driving style fits the trucks. I think we're going to see more of her talent. She was decent in ARCA. I think, Kanan or whatever the series they call it now. They feel like they've changed over the last couple of years. I feel like she's actually going to do decent. Obviously, A&M Racing has, Moffitt's been pretty good the last couple of weeks, but I just think Jesse making a jump from ARCA to a stock car to another stock car is going to be beneficial. I think Jesse obviously has talent. You could have a fast race car, but if you don't win in it, it makes you look no good. So I think it's going to be a good move. I'm still intrigued to see where Sheldon's going, but I don't know. I think this is going to be something that RCR is not really known, I feel like, for getting super young talent. I feel like they always have experienced people coming into some of their rides. So I think this is a stepping stone for RCR to maybe take a chance on some younger talent to fulfill some of these roles. Because we obviously know that, Austin Dillon's probably going to be set for a lot of years. Kyle Busch isn't going to race forever, so.
You shut your mouth.
I know. I'm sorry. You're going to hate, I always wish Jeff Gordon raced forever. We're coming up on a 10-year anniversary.
Wow.
In 2 years, and it's been over 8 years now.
2015, right?
That's crazy.
Yep.
We're coming up on 9 years. I can't believe I cried, that whole last year. But I think it's on the realm of RCR getting a young prospect, at such an early age. So I think it's going to benefit RCR. Obviously, now that's 2 drivers. Essentially, RCR stole from Toyota in the last year and a half. So. I think it's
given away.
Yeah. But I think it's a good move. So I'm intrigued. It really caught me off guard. I really do think Jesse has talent, because obviously to win races you got to have some talent, even if it's the best equipment. Obviously he had the best equipment. So I'm intrigued. I think it shocked a lot of people. I really don't think people were expecting Jesse Love to go to RCR.
The thing that surprises me is that they signed Austin Hill to another Xfinity deal, and to me this would make more sense if they had Jesse Love and Sheldon Creed. If you're actually trying to build a program with a driver like you mentioned in Kyle Busch, who's not the youngest but still will probably be there for the next at least 6 years, would be my guess. But at the same time, like, Austin Hill's 30, 31. He has done nothing in the Cup Series. I'm not sure he'll ever get a ride in the Cup Series. He's proven what he can do. I mean, right now he is, at least points wise, trying to fight for a championship. But let's not forget too that Sheldon Creed, as he must win this weekend, still has a chance to make the Final Four. So when you're looking at what RCR is from a Cup Series, you have to remove that and see what they are from an Xfinity Series. And they're very competitive Xfinity wise. Austin Hill was fighting for a regular season championship this year. He was really, really good. They have absolutely dominated on the restrictor plates, and Sheldon Creed is really, really good on the road courses. Probably had 2 opportunities at least that I can think of to win at those. And to see that the fact that they decided to keep Austin Hill and they ship off Sheldon Creed, it's funny. I guess I refer it back to like sports cards. Like, if you break into sports cards right now and say like you open up a pack of baseball cards and you get John Smoltz, you're like, oh shit. But if you get somebody that's like Corbin Carroll, who's playing tonight in his first year, everybody loses their mind. Well, there's a chance that Corbin Carroll is never the MLB player that John Smoltz is, even though they're different positions, but career-wise. So it's funny that whenever I look at NASCAR teams, I kind of in the same way. I'm like, well, yeah, Austin Hill can help me win an Xfinity championship, I guess. But my goal is to win a Cup Series championship. So why would I not go for a younger team like Sheldon Creed, who's won in the trucks, like you mentioned, and had a good season this year, and then move with Jesse Love? But to replace those, I'm not really sure, because you already mentioned, when it comes to ARCA, it's money. It's absolutely money. Yep. And that's why Sammy Smith was this guy last year. Sammy Smith was Jesse Love, was by winning all these races and things like that. And
Ty Gibbs was before that.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. So I do applaud Chevy, again, going for a prospect, but I look at it a little bit differently coming from ARCA maybe than I would say the trucks. But to your point, if you don't think that they're going to perform well in the truck series because it's not really tailored to the way that they race, you might as well put them on your staff, was he 19, 20 years old, and see what he has. But there could be growing pains. And I mean, when you're making the final 8, like Sheldon Creed did, those are big shoes to fill.
You got to look at it too. What fixes everything? What makes everything look good? You could have a terrible basketball coach, but if you win 19 out of 23 games, you look way better than the coach that might be a 4-16 record and is a great coach. I look at that. When we look at Austin Hills, He went 4 races this year and 2 last year, so 6 races in the last 2 years compared to Sheldon Creed, who came in and won a big fat 0. So obviously winning fixes a lot of issues. And, I still say there's somewhere in between where, I feel like Sheldon Creed feels like he doesn't get the same equipment as Austin Hill based off some of the statements. But I firmly believe that, winning fixes everything. Obviously, Austin Hill signed an extension. Why? Because he won races. When you win races, you get looked at. Just like I think Carson's the same way. 12 months ago, I would have never thought Carson Hocevar would have got a Cup Series ride. But look at him. He started winning races. He started competing, started showing more respect. Cup ride. I think we could look at you could look at other examples with that. So It's tough. I still think I feel like Creed is a better talent, because I think Austin is just a year younger than Larson, which Larson's 30, 31, somewhere around there. And I think Hill is he's like 29, but still, like, you gotta look at, do you obviously, in Cup right now, Josh Berry's 30, they're
but Austin Hill's never placing Austin Dillon. So that's the point that I just don't. I don't know.
I totally agree. I think I look at Austin Hill, 5-6 years ago when he took all this money and was able to buy a ride, and then he took all that money away and then rebought into Haggerty, or I don't know how to pronounce it. Racing. He won a championship there. That team always performed. It had Moffitt in there, won a champion. Did great in it. Had then Hill that ran into it. Did great with it. Then obviously he left that team and went to RCR. So, like I said, it's good to see RCR investing in prospects, younger prospects, rather than taking someone that's done well in the trucks and bringing them in. So
I kind of run it parallel to what Front Row Motorsports did this year, and they decided to keep Michael McDowell and let Zane Smith walk. They totally could have went with Gilliland and Zane Smith, and I don't think a lot of people would have went, that seems like the wise move to do, but instead they let a guy walk that has a lot of talent, Zane Smith, and I just feel like that RCR is doing the same thing. They decided to keep Austin Hill, and they said, Sheldon Creed, we're going to let you walk and we're going to build this around, Jesse Love moving in because, instead of Sheldon Creed. But it makes
you wonder if there was talks, months ago about this that made Sheldon.
Did say he signed a contract weeks ago. He just hasn't announced it yet. I mean, to know how true that is, I don't know. That's what he said on Sirius XM. So, I mean, the writing on the wall, I'm guessing what you're alluding to, Travis, may have already been there a while back.
Yeah, and it just made it sound like, I don't know. It just made it sound like, oh, hey, we're starting to talk to blah, blah, blah. Then all of a sudden, I feel like Creed scrambled a little bit. Then, like you said, he signed something. So we weren't there. The only people in the room know exactly what happened. Right. But I don't know. RCR got a good prospect. It's good to see Chevy get someone. Obviously, it's every year you can almost guarantee some Chevy team is going to steal a Toyota prospect of some sort. So here we are.
Yeah, it's been that way for a little while now. But I will want to transfer and transition into who do you think makes it in the Xfinity Playoff Championship race? And I will pull up the standings so that everybody can see. It is right here. So right now we got Sam Mayer, who is in due to his win. And then you have the drivers right here with John Hunter Nemechek very, very comfortably in second. Cole Custer, Austin Hill, Justin Allgaier, Sammy Smith, Chandler Smith, and Sheldon Creed. Now, Sammy Smith, Chandler Smith, and Sheldon Creed pretty much have to win. But the reason why I bring this up, because, you look at this, Travis, and you're like, wow, this is way worse when it comes to competitively, the third and fourth drivers in this, 2 of them are going to probably make it. Well, not necessarily, because if you look at the spring stats when they had this race, Cole Custer was really, really, really good, got second place. Sammy Smith was running in the top 5. Allgaier was competitive, and Sheldon Creed was in the top 5 the entire time. So I think this is a little bit it doesn't get the same attention that maybe the Cup Series is, which is the Xfinity. It's never going to. But going into the race, who do you see moving on into the Xfinity Championship race?
I think Nemechek is almost a for sure, unless he just botches somehow. It's just like, something's got to go terribly wrong. Obviously Nemechek. It comes down to a couple. I do think someone in the bottom four is going to win the race. I think Allgaier gets moved in there. He's always strong on short tracks. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
I do think Austin Hill's going to struggle. I don't know if he's going to have the speed. I don't know how the stats in front of me, how he ran the first time. I know you said he ran top 5 the first. Did he run?
I'll get it for you while you're going.
Yeah, so I think Austin Hill's not going to make it. I think you got Mayer that's already in. Nemechek. I think Allgaier. I'm going to take a guess just because we saw the qualifying. I thought Sammy Smith had a lot of speed. So I think that's kind of my little underdog push that I'm going to have. So you got Mayer, you got Nemechek, Allgaier gets on points, and then Sammy Smith's going to win the race. There's my 4. Bold prediction.
All right. So I'm getting this for you right now, and I'll share it so everybody can see it simultaneously with you. But this was the final. So let me know when you can see this, Travis.
I see it.
Okay. So John Hunter Nemechek did end up winning the race, did really, really well, led 198 laps. To me, again, that's kind of misleading because it was a really, really close race. You would say, how is not leading 52 laps very close? And I promise you it actually was. But, I mean, I want you, again, set the stage up. Sammy Smith is outside the playoffs. Cole Custer is right there. He's 3 points in. Allgaier is 3 points out. Those guys qualified in the top 3, and none of them are locked in. And then they ran 2, 3, and 6. Chandler Smith actually qualified 10th, finished 10th. So he has a chance. He just didn't have the same speed. And the guy that we already mentioned, John Hunter Nemechek, won this race. So to again go all the way back to it, this race was really, really, really close. I think having trouble. Sheldon Creed had trouble in this race. He did started 3rd previously. I'm not sure what qualifying was for today. I can pull that up real quick and see if he is in the top 10.
Sammy Smith won the pole.
Correct.
I knew that. I think.
Yeah. So you got Sammy, Allgaier, and Custer. Nemechek 5th. Chandler Smith 7th, and Sheldon Creed 8th, with Austin Hill 9th. At a track, and again, this is a much different layout when it comes to competition-wise than what we've seen from the Cup cars. Yep. These cars will be able to beat and bang and be able to move guys. So I think based upon that, I'm going to say that RCR throws a Hail Mary. Sheldon Creed tries to prove himself. And I think he Christopher Bell's his way into the Final Four, making this like one of the greatest Xfinity stories that we've had in recent years.
I just, I hope Creed goes out with a bang. I think he deserves. He's more than deserving to win a race before.
It'd be a hell of a way to win your first race.
I think he could easily be the Chase Elliott of 2020 season when he wins Martinsville and then goes and wins Phoenix. He's more incapable of it.
Could you imagine?
Go out the
That'd be the best Xfinity storyline ever.
I think you'd almost look at it like a Reddick. Like a Reddick back in 2017 when he won it for Junior Motorsports, and then turned around in 2018 and then won it for RCR. But back-to-back championships in 2 different cars. He left them because of sponsorship, and RCR found sponsorship. And I think it's very almost similar in a sense. I just have a hard time seeing Austin Hill go. I think he finished 7th the first time, and then if you look at some of the other short tracks, I think he finished 9th. At Richmond, which kind of not really. I
don't think that's good this week.
No, I really don't. I think you got too many points. You got 3 people split between 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
Really not even that. They're 3 points because they're all 3. So it's
really
really
tied at 3 under and tied at there, and one is 3 over.
Allgaier's been good on short tracks all week. It comes down to the stage points, but I don't see Hill being the one that is going to advance. He's either got to, like I said, hope for some trouble between Cole and Allgaier, and hopefully someone behind him doesn't win. But I think Sammy Smith has shown on short tracks. He's obviously won Phoenix earlier this year. I think Sammy's shown he got second, the first behind his teammate. He won the pole. He was good in practice this week. I think Sammy Smith is going to be one you got to watch out for. He's going to be the spoiler. I think with Sheldon Creed, he could throw the Hail Mary. I mean, think about last week with Sheldon. Imagine if that would have worked out.
Yeah.
They took that as a bold strategy. And guess what? I don't know how many times I've done that on iRacing and hope for the best. And all it takes is it to work one time, and you look like an absolute genius. You could fail 35 times. You work one time, though, you look like an absolute genius. Everyone forgets about the rest of them.
Yeah.
So
that's Ross Chastain.
Yep. Yeah.
Nobody
exactly.
else just tried it until somebody actually got it right.
Well, did you see where Kyle Busch said, I thought about it the year prior because he needed to beat Bowman, and then he said he watched it work for Chastain and goes, wow, I don't know why I didn't try that.
I did not see that.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. But I like I said, I mean, I got Mayer, Nemechek. I'm gonna, like I said, Allgaier and Sammy Smith's gonna win the race to spoil it all. So we got what? You didn't say your four. I know you said Mayer, Nemechek, Sheldon. Who's your fourth that's getting on points?
And I would say that Sammy Smith runs good enough because I feel like it'd be almost impossible for a non-JG or JGR not to have at least one guy in. So, but
Nemechek's in. Nemechek's in.
That's right. I apologize.
So you got Mayer, Nemechek.
So Mayer, Nemechek, Sheldon Creed.
Who's your fourth?
I think it comes down between Smith and Custer. I think Custer will have the more cojones because he's trying to fight for his career.
Well, I don't think Smith can make it in on points, can he? He's like 49 points out. There's no way he can make it on points.
You're right. Hold on.
No way.
Yeah, he would 49. Have to win. So he would have to win.
So if you got Sheldon winning, then it comes between Cole, Austin,
it would be Cole then.
You got Cole. Yeah, well, Cole's been running good.
Cole.
I mean, heck, you think about how well Riley Herbst has been running too. I mean, SHR's kind of stepped up their Xfinity program, but didn't step up their Cup program.
Cole Custer's been actually the most consistent Stewart-Haas racing driver out of everybody when it comes from top series to bottom series. Yeah. He's actually been really solid, and he was just demoted this past year for a guy that really hasn't done much better than him.
Yeah,
and so this to me, if Cole Custer makes the Final Four, has a chance to race for a championship, I think he'll at least get another opportunity in the Cup. Maybe not next year, but the year after, as long as he doesn't screw it up. So, who I wanted to kind of talk about this a little bit. I already alluded to. I think the Xfinity race will be better, but let me ask you a more long-term question since we're doing a live show. Which of these drivers, if getting into the top four, the final championship race, do you think elevates their career? Like Justin Allgaier, I don't think it does anything for him because he's never going to move out of Xfinity. I think he likes it here. He's probably going to race the rest of his career there. But for these other guys, do you think getting into the championship four will put the express route on one of these guys getting to the Cup Series?
No, I really don't. I mean,
okay.
I think you think about Nemechek. He's obviously going. Right. But I mean, we go down the line. Mayer signed next year. I think he's still got another year at least. 20? I think he has got at least another year of learning and growing and stuff like that. I think he's very much like a Carson. He wrecked a lot of cars last year, done a lot better this year. Obviously has 4 wins. I think he has shown that, he's definitely grown. But
definitely strong on the end too.
Oh, very, very. He's won 4 out of the last 12 races or 4 out of the last 11. I mean, that's incredible. Think about 4 out of the last 12. That's a 25% winning percentage. That's better than that. That's what? That's a 33% winning. Yeah. 33. I mean, that's even better. So you have him. I think Nemechek's are going up. You got Cole Custer. I think if he wins the championship, I think it's between him and Noah Gragson for the 10 car. I think maybe if Cole goes and gets into the Final Four and then wins the championship.
We still have no colleague news. I mean, we still have nothing on them. So.
But I mean, I think if you look at that, it's hard to argue. Like, do you get someone that just won a championship, and how do you not elevate it? Right. How do you not? Then you go from that to Algar, like you said, he's not going anywhere. He can win 4 championships in a row. And I'm sorry, but I really don't see him. I think he is happy where he's at. He's got top tier equipment, top tier ride. He isn't going back to a
same sponsorship he always
he's
will have.
He's not going back to H. Scott Motorsports. I mean, my God. So he has that. Let's look at Sheldon Creed, maybe, but obviously he's already got other plans for the Xfinity Series. I think that helps his stats and helps his career, obviously. So like, hey, I can prove that I can win a championship. I think you got Sammy Smith, still young. It's not going to make him. I think he's still got at least he's going to obviously Junior Motorsports next year. So he's at least got another year of growing per se. I mean, think about that. I mean, same thing. Sammy Smith won the championship and then leaving and go to Junior Motorsports. Same thing. Another Toyota prospect that went to who else? Chevy.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Who else am I forgetting? Chandler Smith.
Cole and Chandler.
Chandler? No, I mean, he's obviously got some cup rides, cup stuff with Colleague this year, but he's, obviously going to go, I think he's going back to Joe Gibbs Racing. Yeah. So I don't think that he has, I mean, where do you go? You got to wait for Martin Truex to retire. You got to wait.
Denny, and then Bubba's secured his ride for at least another 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. So look at this way. Where can you go? The only places you can go now is if another team switches to Toyota. You go to a legacy motor club that's going to have Eric Jones in there. He's probably not going to go for the next couple of years. Obviously, Toyota's big on Nemechek, so he's only going to get better Toyota rides as we go. You have, they're not going to get rid of Reddick. They had to spend way too much money on Reddick. Right. They obviously Bubba's going to go there for another 3 years. So now you're waiting on Martin Truex to retire. You're waiting on Christopher Bell's not going anywhere. He's obviously in the Final Four for 2 years in a row, so he's probably going to be under contract for a little bit. Obviously, Gibbs isn't going to go anywhere. No, he's and then Denny said he's at least another 2 years. So where do you go?
Yeah, the only thing that would happen there is if 2311 decided to get a third ride.
And then they talked about it, but I just don't see who is going to be that person to like sell their stuff now.
Right.
Obviously,
Rick Ware is not doing it. No, NASCAR said they can keep their stuff because their alliance with RFK. Spire is completely going involved through with it. Yeah, the only thing that I could see is if Colleague finally does say, you know what, we're tired of trying to find sponsorship, so we're going to give that up. Or if you see, like Stuart Haas, but again, that's a whole nother show to go down that line.
I don't see, I personally see an investor coming into a team rather than it's like a GMS going into Petty almost. Yeah. I think I see more of someone investing into someone's already like Cup
like
Series.
Like Gamebridge did Spire this year.
Yeah, I think the same one. Yeah. I still say at some point, Dale Jr. is going to get into Cup somehow, and the only way he's going to be able to do that is if he's going to spend the 40 to 50. Well, actually, more than that. Probably, Colleague is going to be worth more than the 40 million personally because it's ran way better. So, than Live Fast. So, what's that look like? Is he just rather just take that money and be like, hey, I'm going to invest. Like, I want to be part of this. I can draw you sponsorship. Obviously, I can get you all the funding you want. Evan wants to fund me because my name is on it, So I don't know. I know we're getting a little bit off or whatever, but I don't know. I don't think any of them get elevated. I think the only one that the only person that it will look really good on is Cole Custer. He's the only one that says like, hey, I know I lost my ride last year, but I won the championship. You demoted me, and I proved that I still can flat out drive.
Right.
Like, give me that 10 ride.
And Stuart Haas has done nothing to prove him being taken out of his ride. That's the other part of it too. Is like nobody at Stuart Haas is going, well, yeah, they made the right decision. I mean, because look at the guy filling in for him, or look at everybody else, and they ain't worth a shit either. So.
I mean, if you think about it, he was in 2020. What happened in 2020? They went that big break of COVID. Guess what? His first Cup rides, he had no practice, no nothing. So then we go into 2021 where we have like still really no practice, really nothing, to go off of.
Right.
Did terrible. Then we went to a brand new car. You got to adapt at some point.
Right.
But, it's like, I'd be the first one to admit, I'm like, oh, Cole Custer can't drive. He's only good in Xfinity.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the numbers, yeah, he's a great Xfinity driver. I still think like Cindric. I think he's a great Xfinity driver, but he hasn't proved me in Cup yet. He's won to 500. He's going to go down as a 500 winner, but he hasn't proved to me that, hey, like I'm a Cup driver. To me, he's still an Xfinity driver at some point. So
yeah,
I think Cole Custer has the most win-loss. If he doesn't win the championship, he's still in the top tier ride next year in the Xfinity series. If he wins the championship, it's like, hey, I'm here. Like, give me back my ride almost.
Right. Well, let's transition into the Cup series where we will have a battle. I'm hoping that's actually on the racetrack versus in maybe pit road or something of that nature. But here we are again. Christopher Bell is in. Kyle Larson is in. Those are the two drivers that you and I picked to be in for the next round. And now it comes down to this. William Byron, comfortable. Not catastrophic failure proof, but comfortable. And then after that, it's pretty much anybody besides Chris Buescher has to win. I think a 10-point lead for Ryan Blaney can disappear very, very quickly. Martin Truex has won this race before, but I wouldn't say he's great at it. Denny Hamlin is usually pretty solid on it, but normally most of his video clips are saying shit afterwards or meeting somebody that did win it at the start-finish line to try to hit him during a burnout or something stupid. And Tyler Reddick just hasn't really done a lot on short tracks. So going into it, two guys have to move on, Travis. Do you like where things sit right now? Can the JGR guys do anything? Where are you sitting at as we speak?
I think William Byron has a top. I think if he has a top 10 day, he's in.
Oh, it's yeah. If he gets points in top 10, it's open.
Yeah, I think his biggest thing is if he gets stage points in the first two stages, he's fine. He has nothing. Now, if he doesn't get any stage points, you can make 30 points up pretty quickly.
Correct.
You can make it up fairly quickly. So I think Williams gonna be fine. He's won there. He ran good there in the spring. He'll be fine. Hendrick always been running well there. I don't think they have a whole lot to worry about. I think where it gets tricky is that fourth position. I think Ryan Blaney finished second in the spring, if I'm thinking correctly. So it could come down to a lot of different things. You have Denny, who always runs good there. You got Truex, who obviously always runs good there. I think it gets tricky. And then you got all these wild cards too. Think about we could talk all about all this, and all of a sudden Chris Buescher wins the race off some kind of strategy. It blows everyone, it blows everyone through the loop. Like for me, I told you I had Denny Hamlin getting through. I had Larson. I had Byron, and I threw in Reddick because of Vegas, and it was Joey Logano. Sorry, Blaney finished 7th. Sorry, I got the two Penske drivers mixed up. But I had, I didn't have Bell. I thought Bell would maybe squeeze in there at some point. You had Bell, I didn't. I was wrong. But I, based off if you look at his numbers at Homestead, maybe not. But I think it comes down to the 4th spot. Someone's got to win. Someone's got to win. Who's it going to be? Who's got the balls and who's going to latch their sack and win the race? So
yeah,
I think it's on track position, and it's going to be track position too. So
yeah,
where are we at?
Yeah, I think you'll know pretty early, like who's got speed, who doesn't. I think, if you're going to bet on this race, watch practice, watch qualifying, and really stick to your guns. I mean, it's almost like the way short tracks are anymore. You treat this like a Formula One race. Like, yeah, these guys are going to have the best pit stall. They're going to have the best track position. We really don't see anybody do a whole bunch of different stuff, Travis, when it comes to like pitting off sequence, like last week. We're not going to see guys, Denny Hamlin's going to run it 20 laps longer than anybody else. No, everybody's going to come in, simultaneously. I think the only unknown thing, who screws up on pit road?
That's all it's going to come down to. Think about Ryan Preece last year. First race at Martinsville.
Yep.
Led the first 139 laps. Didn't get inside the top 15 until 2 laps to go in the race. Led the first 139 laps of the race.
Dominated
get back,
the first 139.
I mean,
not
flat
just
out.
Like, straight up dominated.
Flat out ran away with it. And then lap 140, whatever, had a speeding penalty, went to the back, didn't get inside the top 15 until 2 laps to go in the race.
At a track that you have to run 500 laps.
He had 361 laps to get back into the top 15 and didn't. That just shows you how hard it is to pass, shows you how hard it is, track position. I think Larson wanted on a 2-tire call in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it comes down to. He's awful. He's awful at Martinsville. Won with the 2. Now, given if you look at his whatever, but like I said,
not only won it on 2 tires, he dominated off of the 2 tires as well.
Yep.
I mean,
like I said,
he just straight up just ran away with it. Whoever was in first place ran away with it. Usually had much better air, which, God, why are we talking about that at Martinsville? But I mean, that's just the nature of the beast right now, because Martinsville is a 1-lane track.
Yeah, so I think it comes down to you who runs practice well and who qualifies well. I think if Byron sits back there and qualifies 20th, we got a different picture on our hands for the playoffs. But if they all qualify in the top 10, all 6 of them qualify in the top 10, it's going to come down to who wins the race. You're not going to make up. I know, we're not even talking about Reddick. We're more worried about like for me, I'm not even looking at Reddick. I don't think he's not that big in the picture. I think we're going to look at Hamlin. I'm more worried about Hamlin. I don't think Truex hasn't done anything. I'm more looking at Hamlin. That's someone that intrigues me. I think that's the one that's got the best shot of getting through. He could pull off something in here that, could win. At Martinsville, I think any other track you could pull up 17 points. But when you're just got if Byron goes out there and focuses on qualifying and qualifies in the top 5, it's Hamlin's got to win. And I think they're going to be more focused on. A lot of times when they qualify, they don't really focus on qualifying because you can pass in some of these places. But when it comes to short tracks, they're going to focus a little bit on qualifying because they understand how important it is to qualify up front.
Right. Well, and that will lead us to our last segment here on the live stream where we burn it down.
This victory fuels. Look at that. He's out of the car. He controlled it, and now he just set the whole thing on fire. I get out on that one. That's big fire. I think that might be the white flash.
All right, and that was Joe Nemechek at Martinsville, literally burning it down. So I will lead it off, Travis. My burn it down thought before we exit the show here. Show me something, Cup Car. You got to do something for me. I've talked about it ad nauseum this year. I don't want the Xfinity Series to outshine you on Saturday, but I'm almost positive that's what's going to happen. I've seen it too much this year. We've had great races at Martinsville. We've had Denny, that short track racing for you. We've had, people getting pissed off, getting dumped like Chase Elliott. We've seen Matt Kenseth with one of the greatest highlights of all time. We've seen Hale Mellon. We've seen all these things. Christopher Bell have to win the race to advance. I don't want your lower series to outshine you once again. This is one of the best tracks on circuit. There's a reason why since 1947 that the NASCAR Cup Series has ran at Martinsville. It's because it's beating and banging. It's because it's truly great racing. Please, for the love of God, give me one last opportunity to show why we enjoy this type of racing before I say, scrap the short track package, get the hell rid of it, because I'm right there if I'm not already there. Give me one last glimmer of hope.
I think it's a perfect burn down. I think it even goes on top of that as saying, Goodyear, give me a tire that will go flat. So there's some type of passing. Give me something. How do we like, how do we have all these tire failures and people losing all this grip at all these other places? And then we go to short track and they're like, oh, we just build rubber. That's all we do.
Yeah,
Like, we just build rubber. There's no tire wear.
Yeah.
You know, and I think Michigan's the only other track where you get faster as you go on, or, you know, one of those places. So, by burn it down this week, I've been thinking a little bit, and I don't want to tick off some fans. So I think I'm going to wait till I think I'm going to wait. I think I'm going to wait. I got a good one. I got a good one. So we're going to save it, but
manifesting.
My burn it down is, why do we have these series that are NASCAR, like NASCAR Trucks, NASCAR Xfinity Series, NASCAR Cup? But why do the playoffs not line up? I think we would get so much more excitement if their playoffs aligned. Because, like, trucks, for instance, they go from 8, I feel like 8 to 6 to 4. And, you know, then it's like, oh, a couple races, and then they don't run for 3 weeks. And then you go, I don't even know where they are in the playoffs. Like, does anyone know where they are in the playoffs?
I haven't raced for almost a month.
Well, yeah, that's what, you know, their playoffs started in early August.
Yeah.
You know, early August, and then
3 weeks before the Cup.
Yeah, and that is so crazy. And then trucks are fantastic at Martinsville. They can beat and bang, and they're not even here at Martinsville. Yep. Like that is upsetting to me. But also, you have such a Xfinity's got so many, like, okay, these people got to win. You know, oh, they're tied on points. Cup's the same way, tied on points, and you get these trucks, and it's like, oh, like 4 people got through it on Homestead, and not a lot to talk about. In my opinion, I think if you're going to run a playoff system for each series, they need to align in some facet of, you know, I think they do 7 races in the trucks. They do, I think they do 8 in the Xfinity, something like that. And you know, however they line up, find a way to line them up to the point of, like, each cutoff race is the exact same cutoff race. So there's something people can talk about more than just, oh, the cutoff race for the Xfinity car was at Las Vegas, and then the trucks was at Homestead, and the Cup cars at Martinsville. You know, I think there's got to be, you know, I just threw out names out there, but there's got to be somewhere where you can talk about all 3 series. You know, the cutoff race is at this track. The cutoff race is at this track, type of thing. So we got to figure out a better alignment there. I haven't really looked in depth to the Xfinity and truck schedule for next year. But somewhere in the line, there needs to be lined up just a little bit better. Just a little bit. Just give me a little bit.
Xfinity runs good on super speedways. We didn't get to see him at Talladega when we went. And the people, unfortunately, like you mentioned, don't get to see the trucks at Martinsville. And I just think those are missed opportunities for what these vehicles are good at, like you're alluding to. And instead of going, oh, yeah, Phoenix is next week. Who the hell's in the championship in the trucks? Oh, Carson Hocevar won half a month ago. That's right.
And then, you know, I just watched GMS post a picture of Granny Fingers car, and I go, oh, I wonder why. And I'm like, oh crap, they don't even run this weekend. Like, what? Why am I even looking forward to that? You know, and I'm sitting there going, so I think you got to line them up a little better. You can't have, if you're going to run the playoff system, you can't have a playoff start 3 to 4 weeks before everybody else, because everyone's starting to think that. I get what their mindset is, but give me some alignment. Just a little bit better, even if it's just
2 races out of the 3 that they run or something like that.
Just give me something where there's, like, at least in one of the round of 12, the round of whatever, like all 3 series, hey, cutoff race is at Daytona. The cutoff race is at, you know, like, at least make each cutoff race the same track. Yeah. I think that would be so cool, because I have a 3-day weekend. Each series has a cutoff race. You got trucks, and you got to cut. And then you got to go to Xfinity Series and cut, and then you got to go to Cup and cut. Like,
and if you say, like, what you're saying, Travis, I mean, you could have done it Kansas, Roval, Martinsville, and that's 3 completely different tracks. I think all the other 3 series could have ran the same time.
Think about the trucks at the Roval. I think that'd be somewhat entertaining. It'd be wild. You know, it would still be between a couple people, but would be wild at some point. So I think if you're going to do it, just give me something that's, you know, where their cutoff races and things like that line up in a way. I don't even care about they start at the same time. Like if you want to start the truck playoffs in June, start them in June, like whatever. But give me like the cutoff races so I have excitement besides thinking like, okay, this weekend is the truck cutoff. Okay, in 3 weeks the Xfinity cutoff. Oh, and then all the cup cutoff isn't this weekend, it's the following weekend. You know, give me something where it's like a line, like there's a little bit more excitement. There's my burn it down. So
listen, NASCAR.
Listen
We're trying
to
to
me.
help you out.
I think it'd bring the entertainment and it would bring the aspect. If you want your series to align and you want your series to say, hey, like each stepping stone, line them up. It would get a better product. You would sell more tickets, obviously, you know, with having these groups and the cutoff races. You could promote it way differently. You could easily promote like a big cutoff race here at
doubleheader cutoff races.
Yeah.
I mean,
so it just nothing lines up. I just feel like every weekend it feels like there's a cutoff race every weekend for some series. And that's what it felt like for the last 12, 13 weeks.
Right. No, I absolutely agree. If you want to support the show or find us at different places, this is the best way to do it. You can find us on Facebook at the / Stuck in the Catch Fence. We are also on Rumble, and you can support the show at Patreon as well if you want to do that way. Outside of that, we will be back on Sunday after the race. Probably won't look at live streaming that because I don't think it's going to be enjoyable enough. If something changes, I will put something out there and go, hey, this race actually looks a little bit decent. Maybe we'll try to dive into this at the end, but I wouldn't hold your breath on that. Probably, I would say there's a very, very, very slim chance.
Who's your winner? Who's your winner?
Who's my winner for the race itself? I'm going to go Denny Hamlin. He was my pick. I thought it was between him and Kyle Larson to win a championship. I feel like I got to stay with it. I felt like Denny's had speed, just have had a little bit of bad luck.
Good pick. I like that. I think that's a solid pick.
Yours?
I am going to go with Ryan Blaney.
All right. Ryan Blaney.
I think Ryan Blaney's going to sneak him past all.
Well, there you go. Let us know what your guys' pick is in the comments below. Otherwise, we will see you on Sunday. My name is Ryan Peters for Travis Butt. This is Stuck in the Catch Fence.